¿Cuál crees tú que es la característica principal de esta nueva generación de guitarristas a la que tú perteneces?
Bueno, pues en principio todos son fallos de la nueva generación, ¿no? Porque intentamos buscar cosas nuevas, por lo tanto fallamos todos.
Toda la prima, ¿no?
What's up, YouTube? Ricky T, CFG, Flamenco guitar coach, guy, and me. Hey, in this video, we're going to pick up from where we left off in the other video about where I taught the first chord that you should know. Now we're going to go ahead and get into some practical teaching, right? So this whole series is about teaching you flamenco guitar from scratch, as though you don't know anything, right, as a beginner. And there are a ton of things that I can teach you about theory. Right? I don't know it all, but I know a lot. I can dive in, but at this stage, being this just the second video, I think it's a perfect time for us to dive into some chords, right? Dive into what is not arguably, but what is de facto the most important positional play, the most important few chords that you're going to learn. You want to get really good with these because they will apply, right? It's a positional play. I'm teaching you chords, but I'm really teaching you chord shapes, right? And these 4 chord shapes will be the basis for a positional way of playing called por medio. What do I mean when I say positional way of play, right? Let me break that down for you. So when I say positional way of play, I mean, right, let's take a look at this fretboard here. When I say positional way of play, I mean, let's say we take a basic, A minor chord, right? Actually, let me stick to what I'm teaching you. Let's take a D minor chord. All right, let's take this D minor chord. So anything in yellow is what we're gonna play. All right, anything that's not in yellow, we're not gonna play. So let me take this off of yellow as well. There you go. So this is our D minor chord. All right. This is an inverted chord. We'll get to that later. But what I mean when I say positional way of play is this is a shape. So as a lot of people talk about in guitar, one of the advantages that we have as guitar players is that we can learn a shape and then we can take that shape and move it around and make a different chord with the shape, right? So this is a D minor chord. If we were to put a capo, let's say here, and then make that same shape. Let's say we highlighted these guys right here and made this same shape. This would still be a chord. This would still be a D minor chord. Let's say we put a capo here and played that D minor. It wouldn't be called a D minor technically, but this shape you would apply here. You apply this positional way of playing. So no matter where there is a capo, you can play these 4 chord shapes, and they'll be the basic chord shapes for por medio. Also, it's really important that you first learn por medio because that's the basis for all. I mean, that's the basis. Like most all flamenco, most of the pieces are composed por medio, right? That means that doesn't mean that they only have 4 chords, but I'm saying it is this positional way of playing. It can be, again, remember, capo can be anywhere. I'm not saying that they're all in just this same key. I'm saying that this positional way of playing. It's also very important. This is the third now point why it's really important that you learn por medio first, is because, again, acting as the baseline, when you go and learn any other form, any other positional play, you're going to be able to apply what you've learned in por medio. Por medio, right here, this 5th string is the most important string. We'll get to that in a minute. But let's say if I then started to play por arriba. If I play por arriba, here you go. This is the 6th string is going to be the most important string. But these rules, right? There's a scale that we play when we play por medio. This is one scale. But this scale, this is in Phrygian mode. This scale, well, depending on the chord, it's in Phrygian mode, but let's not dive into that. Let me just tell you that these are the notes of the scale, right? So this is por medio, with this A being the most important note. Let's say if I then jumped up and played por arriba, this E becomes this E string, and this E becomes the most important note right here. That all those same chords that I just highlighted, those same notes, look, they're going to be very similar. Like this part of it is very similar, right? Well, these two. Like, so this is similar. As when I went here, right? It's the same right here so far. And then we go, and then I'm going to take all this and move it up, and it's the same. Right here, I did these three, but that's because I was on the B string. Remember, these are all fifths except for this B string is not. It goes back. So I take those same three and I just move it here. And then this was what the sixth string was, and then we continue on. So not to confuse you, but you learn por medio first, and then you'll be able to apply that knowledge and take it everywhere else. It's not like learn this one, then that one, then this whole new one. You're going to learn new ones, but you're going to carry over a lot of information. So you got to get really good at por medio. All right, really, really good por medio. Then you move around. All right, so enough of that. Enough of why. So let's dive into the first chord. Oh no, let me tell you what por medio means. Por medio. Let's talk about it. Por medio in Spanish, that means like by middle, technically, right? Por medio, by the middle, or yeah. So by the middle, it's because, and it's a slang, it's a slang term. It's slang to describe por medio being the most important chord of this positional play, of this cadence, right? So the most important chord is in flamenco is always the 5th, 7th, flat 9. You should know that by now. If you watch any of our videos, we always say that 5th, 7th, flat 9, most important chord. And a lot of people confuse it and they want to call that the one chord. No, it's the 5th, 7th, flat 9. Even Chick Corea, he just released a video, and he knows this. He played with Paco. Watch his video. As a matter of fact, we're going to do reactions to that video because he confirmed it there. If you need some perks, or you need somebody else that knows about music, he says it. Flamenco resolves to the 5th, 7th, flat 9. It doesn't resolve to the 1. It resolves to the 5th dominant with the flat 9. Anyway, getting too much into the weeds. Let me stick to the script. So we have our D minor here, right? Por medio, the most important chord. What does it mean? Why are you saying por medio? I'm saying por medio because por medio describes the most important chord. That most important chord is your 5th, 7th, flat 9. But before you know what this chord is, let me tell you which 4 chords make up por medio. These 4 chords make up the basis of por medio. You can dive in and go a lot deeper, and we can expound upon this, and we will. We definitely will. But to start off, anybody who, let's say, somebody who plays another form of music on the guitar, another genre, another whatever, they will likely know these 4 chords. They say oh, that has a flamenco sound to it. It's because they'll go, they'll go from the flat 6 to the 5th, 7th, flat 9 in any key. But they'll go from these two, from this, and this is tension, release, tension, release, tension, release, right? But they'll play these two, and everybody knows these two. You just do that, and it's, wow, ole. You hear ole immediately, right? Yeah, I don't have nothing like a touch of tune. Let me take this one real quick, right? So, you play, listen. Ole, that's a B flat. Tune in. Ole, play the chord with it. Not in tune. Ole, you hear that, you automatically want to say ole. So that's what people do when you talk about flamenco. But back to the script. Por medio, 1st minor, flat 7, flat 6, 5th, 7, flat 9. Don't get confused with the Romans. We'll get to those in a later video. I don't want to dive in too deep. I'm already talking a lot. But don't worry about these. Be patient. We'll get to that. The reason why I'm teaching these chords right now is because I want you to pick up the guitar and start playing, right? This is not theory only. This is not just books and learning, rules. Play, have fun. It's a language. Go out there and have fun. Pick up your guitar and play around. So that's why we're teaching you this now. Everything else will fall into play. So 1st minor is D minor. Most of these keys are these positional way of playing, which we call them a key as well. We call por medio, a key. We're playing in por medio. What's the key? It's going to be D minor, and then you say real key, which is if there's a capo somewhere and the D minor is no longer a D minor, that's the real key. But again, D minor is your first minor, and you have C major. This is your flat 7. Then you have B flat. This is your flat 6. Then you have A7 flat 9. Again, remember, most important chord here, A7 flat 9. Now, when I show you these chords here, and I show you I'm going to write chords in all of the videos. I always write chords like this. And you might not understand it. You might frown upon it. You might look down upon it. Whatever. The fact of the matter is, it's very easy to understand. I can immediately write this to you, and as soon as I tell you that these are the strings of the guitar from left to right, that's the 6th string, and that's the fret number. The number is the fret number. 6th string, 5th string, 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st string. X means don't play it. I can write any chord for you now. Not a lot, very easy. Very easy, right? So that's this. What does this translate to? 1, 0, 0, 2, 3. That translates to a D minor, which is our first chord. 1, right? First fret, 6th string. 0 is the next one. That's the 5th string. 0 again, that's the 4th string. Then we have 2 on the 3rd string. So 1, open. This would be a 0, 1, 2. And then we have on the 2nd string, the next number is 3. So that's open, 1, 2, 3. And then the 6th one, the last number in the sequence is X, so we don't play it. So there you go. Right? Which fingers do you use to play this? As far as with your left hand? Most of the time, 8 to 9 times out of 10, you're going to use, your first finger. You're going to use your 3rd finger here, and you're going to use your 4th finger here, right? So it'll be like this. My middle finger's off, so it'll be like that, right? That's it right there. That's what I'm doing. These are your fingers, right? Let me put that in white here. All right, so those are your fingers, and this is what you want to do. Oops, I did that wrong. There you go. That's not good. Black's got it. Just leave it there. So those are the fingers, and this is the chord, the D minor chord. It's the first chord. Then we go to the second chord, which is going, then we want to go to the second chord here. We have a C major. That's your flat 7. We're going down, right? We're starting from the first minor, and then we're going down, down, and then boom, to the resolution, right? This is the cadence. So then we have our C major. How do we play our C major? And there are other ways you can play a D minor, but when we say por medio, these chords that I'm showing you right now, this is the por medio chord. Like, these are the chords. The only other chord that's, let's say, the basic chord, we call them peluquero chords, which means these are the chords that the guys in the barbershop were playing, right? Peluquero is the barbers, is the barbershop. You can also, remember the 6th string and the 1st string repeat. So, if you wanted to, you could put your 2nd finger there, and you can get a shape that would look like this, right? You have this guy, these, and then you can kind of put that down there on the 1 if you wanted to, the 1st string, if you wanted to, or you can just totally avoid this guy here and then just play this. This is the one that you probably learned in school. This is the basic one. And then they wouldn't, they'd remove this and they'd say, play this D minor. Well, this is the same note as this because the 6th string and the 1st string are the same notes. They're different pitches, but they're the same notes. So here you are. Boom, you can do that. Right? So why can't you do that? This is an inverted chord. Chord inversions just mean you take different things of the chord, you take different notes in the chord, and you put it on top. Right? So you put different chords on top. So we talk about the notes. What is this? This is an F. This is an A B, C. This is a D. How did I know that? Ricky, how'd you know that, man? You cheating. No. So a D minor is going to have the notes. Let's start from an actual D. So let's start from this string D. So it's going to have the root, you're going to have, this is the flat second, this is the second, remember here, root. The D minor is going to have these chords, or these notes, sorry. So here, these notes are, I'll put it in orange for you. So these notes are D. Remember, E and F and B and C are the only ones that are right next to each other. Everything else has a flat or a sharp in between, right? However you want to call it. But everything else has something in between. Only E and F and B and C are the best friends. Those are the besties. Those are the BFFs, right? So D and E, this wouldn't be E because D and E are not best friends. So you got to have some space in here. So this is either D sharp or E flat, right? Sharp just means you go up a half step, flat means you go down. More rules around it. We're not diving into that right now. So this would be, so then this is the E. And then remember, E and F are best friends. So boom, now you go to F. Then from F, you can call this F sharp because F and G are not cool. So then you go G, and then you go up A. There it is. And these are all the notes that I have right here, right? It's just I have them in a different order. So when we say root position, that means the root's on top. So that first chord that you learned, or when you look at it, the most basic D minor chord is going to be these, the ones that I have highlighted right here. And this is your F, right? So you're going to have these, and this is going to be your D minor chord, root position. Now, when we talk about inversions, don't get confused, man. All it means is, boom, take your next note in your chords, in your chord shape, right? In your notes, the notes of the chord. The next one is what? F. So if I take these three notes and I put the F as, on top, like how this D was on top in the first one you learned, if I put the F on top, that means it's an inverted chord. Now, what's the difference between first, second, third, fourth, fifth inverted chord inversions? Inversions just mean this is the first inversion because it's the next one up. This is the second inversion because it's the next one up from the chord. And so I can add other notes in here and make it different, make this different chord names. But for now, just know that if the D is the lowest note, meaning like as far as depth, then that's the root position of this D minor. If the root note is the lowest note, is the root position. We go up to the next one, F's on top, first inversion. Go to the next one, second inversion. So that means if I did this, what is this? What chord is this? It could be a lot of different chords. Let's say it's D minor. Which inversion is this of D minor? Remember? Root. First. Second. Second inversion. If I do this, first inversion. This is a D minor first inversion chord, right? Not hard. Once you get it explained to you like that, boom, you got it. You can't forget it. The only thing that can trick you is knowing, what is a minor chord? A root, a flat third, and a perfect fifth. Oh, that means that's your minor chord. And then that'll be root position, and we call that again first inversion and second inversion. Root position, right? So there you go with that. All right, so that was the first chord right there. Your D minor. That's home base. So we want to know that. Our next chord is C major. Again, these are the basic chords. A lot of different ways you can make these chords, but these are the chords. In flamenco, why are you playing this one? How come I can't play the other one? How come I can play the one that they taught me at first? You can't play that one. You can play it, but you're gonna play that when you want to get into that mood. If you want to play higher notes, or you want to, do some type of what is it? What is the word I'm looking for? Some type of like little nuance. I don't know why I can't get with the word. But if you want to the word's gone. Anyway, you can do it if you want to embellish. That's not the word, but it fits. If you want to embellish. But the reason why this is the main chord for this positional way of playing for Medio is because it has a bass. It's a bassy sound, right? Flamenco's strong, right? You don't say flamenco. If I put this F right here and took these two notes off, I'd play this D with higher pitched notes, and so it sound high. Flamenco doesn't sound like that. My teacher always calls it Hawaiian music. He goes, "That's Hawaiian music, right? You think with the little ukulele and that's cool, great music. Nah, I'm not clowning the music. No, it's great music. I love it. But that's not flamenco style. Flamenco style, we want to be strong and right? Or you want to be always strong and aggressive. You can embellish and go in there and get some nice little high pitched notes and sound nice. But we have this F here because it's still a D minor chord and it has that bassy sound. All right, so there's your D minor chord. Next chord, there's your first minor in Puerto Medio. The next one is the flat 7. The flat 7 is a C major chord. All right, C major chord. So A, B, C. So let's get out of here. Let's get out of these. So now let's make a C major chord. It's a major chord, so what does that mean? That means it's comprised of a root, a major third, and a perfect fifth. I keep doing that. And a perfect fifth. So if we think about the C, it would be C, D, E, F, G. So it would be C, E, G. This is just triad. You can get nice and fancy and add these other ones in between, but that's a later lesson. For now, it's going to go with the basic triad, right? And so, how do you play it? The one you're going to learn in school is this one. And I don't mean to down school. I love school. I'm a nerd. But the first one you're going to learn, I should say, right? So it's not to say anything bad. So we're going to have our C here, and then we're going to have our E here. There you are, right? Look, these are all these notes. You see that? But this is not the one we play. We do play this one, but the one that we really like, the one that Paco really liked, the one that has the bassier sound, the more aggressive sound, is which inversion? Yep, second inversion. Second inversion chord. Right? So that's why people try to say, oh, flamenco chords are so hard. Yeah, they're nice and fancy because they want to give that sound off. They want to give that deep sound or that dissonant sound. And when you think about them, like most people learn peluquero chords. They just learn, this C major. But why not put the G on top? It fits. Make a second inversion, and then it sounds mean. It sounds mean. So it's really cool. So this is our C major. All right. Then we go to, let me pause that for you. Boom. You go ahead and screenshot that. All right. Get it. So next chord is your flat 6. It's a B flat. Let's dive into the B flat. We got the B flat. All right. And look, you see that? Oops. What's happening to the screen here? Don't freeze on me, please. It's freezing on me. There we go. Came back. All right. Internet shoddy. All right, 33201, right? Here's another one. You can figure that one out. You might ask, Ricky, which fingers am I doing this with? Let me tell you the fingers before we move on. So this one you're going to do with the 3. This one you're going to do with your middle finger. And this one you're going to do with your one finger. That was the first C that you very likely learned. Now, this second inversion, what you're going to do is you're going to take your 3 and put it there, and then that's going to be your 4, your pinky. So it's going to look, in lieu of looking like, this, this with a guitar, in lieu of looking like this, it's gonna look, put that up and put this here underneath, so it's gonna look like that. All right? That's what you're gonna look like. So there's your C major. Boom, we got that. Cool, cool. What's our next one? Our next one is a B flat. Oops. Excuse me. Our next one is a B flat. B flat. What does a B flat have? So here's a B flat. Here's a B. So our B flat. Let's look at the chord. How do we make our B flat? 1, 3, 3, 3. So let's take that same approach that we just did with the other one. I actually like that. So the first note is here is your B flat. So let me take this, and you see this right here? Don't think that, oh man, this now is my B flat. So what am I doing with this? How does this work? Hey man, this is universally applicable. Look, I'm gonna pick this up. Boom. My internet lets me, and I'm just gonna drop it right here. All right. So now I'm looking at this like this is the 6th string. Okay. Looking at this like this is the 6th string too. I mean, sorry, the 5th string. This is this string, and I've moved it up because my root is right here. So now the B flat will consist of. It's a major chord. So if it's a major chord, it was the same as our C major, remember? Has the root, has the major third, and it has the perfect 5th. Which notes are these? They're the B flat, obviously. And then we go up to B. And because B flat, remember, flat just means we went down. So we go up to B, and then we go to C, because B and C are best friends. Then we skip and go to D. So we got D. Then we go to E, and then right next to E is F. So it has these notes, D, E, F. So B flat, E, F, right? Now, the chord that we said we were gonna make right here is 1, 3, 3, 3. So boom, let's put that out. 1, 3, 3, 3. There you go, 1, 3, 3, 3. And then X. I think it had X on top too, right? Should have X on top. Yes, X on top. So we're gonna play those. So you play from 5th string down. You can get fancy and throw that G in there, actually, if you wanted to. But for now, let's not do it. Let's just leave it as the most simple one. So there's your B flat major. So we got one. We have our B flat, then we have our F, then we have what? Our B flat again, then we have D. So that's all of these, right? Not doing nothing, not doing anything fancy here. So there you go. This is our B flat. Which fingers do I play this with? If you're playing on an electric guitar, you'll probably try to bar these 3. Or if you're playing on a guitar with a smaller fretboard, a skinnier fretboard, you're probably gonna try to bar these 3. But you don't want to do that. You want to get used to not barring these 3, because there are other ways we can play this chord where we get really nice and fancy, and add different notes to this chord to make it beautiful. Still B flat, but we add color, as they say. So you won't do that. You won't be able to do that if you start barring this. So the fingers you use is your index, and then it's basic 2, 3, 4. Boom. There you go. And remember I said you can add that G. If you add that G on top, then really you'd play be like that. So you play 2, that would be 1, and this would be 3 and 4, and then you'd leave this one alone. And you wouldn't play this guy. This guy would be unplayed. So this is also a B flat. This one has a G. Well, Ricky, you don't have a G right here. Where does the G come into? F, G. So really it's a B flat 6. Don't worry about it. Get to it later. So that's why I'm not supposed to be showing you that, but I can't help it. I want you to explore it, have some good sounds, and have fun with the guitar, man. This is about. All right, so there you are. There's your B flat. And now, if you stuck around for 29 minutes, which I don't know, I might edit the video, but if you stuck around for this long, now you get to the most important chord which is your 5th, 7th, flat 9. So let's dive into the 5th, 7th, flat 9. And I hope you stuck around because I'm giving a lot of information. I know it's just saying, oh, just this, just that, but I'm really giving a ton of information here, more than just for Medio, more than just this. And all these little tidbits that I'm talking about, it's all going to parlay, as they say, into other bits and pieces, right? I'm just planting seeds. So stay tuned, man. Listen, take it in, because I'm not doing this for my health. I'm doing this because I want to share. Right? I want to share this knowledge. I don't want to be the only one that knows this stuff, or I'm not the only one that knows it, but I want everybody to know it. I want this music to grow because I love it. And the more people that know it, the more people that are going to play it. And you never know, you might have another Paco come out. I have another one. People just get to express themselves. You get to hear them speak this language, this musical language. So enough of that. Let's get into the most important chord. 5th, 7th, flat 9. So it is a major chord. Let's break this down. I'm teaching you this one too now, right? So it is the 5th, 7th, flat 9. So we have the 5th, 7th, flat 9. We're going to take the root. What does that mean? Why are you saying that? Let me take out the 5th part because that's the Roman numeral. It is a 7 flat 9 chord. I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's not complicated. You'll get it. You need to know it. So you need to know this part. So it's the root. It's a major chord. So remember, we already talked about this. The major chord, you're going to have your root. You're going to have your major third. And then you're going to have your perfect 5th. That's your major chord. That's your major chord. Then we're going to go into the 7, right? It's a major chord with a 7 and a flat 9. So if you just hear 7, that means flat 7. So that flat 7 in there. Dang. There's your flat 7. And now flat 9. You're probably saying, man, where's the flat 9? But if you watch the other video, you may have known that this is 9, this is 11, and this is 13. Meaning, once you go from root back up to root again, then when you come back around, these repeat themselves, but now they're going to have different names. They could have different names. So this is going to be 9, 11, and 13. So that means that makes this not the flat 2nd, but in this case, the flat 9. Because I've already entered this, I've already added this guy, which is my flat 7. Talked about that in the other video when I talked about the E minor 11. So once this guy's triggered, now anything, when I come back over here, I'm going to use this terminology. So now I'm going to say flat 9 is there. So here's my flat 9. So it's also going to have this note. Right? So there we are. So this is our 5th, 7th, flat 9. Now let's throw some notes in there. We got the A, and then we have B flat. Right, it's right there. Right, because remember A, this would be B, so then we go B flat. We're not going to say A sharp because we already set A. So we're not going to say A and then A sharp again. It's a different note. So we say flat. We go up and we go down. You want to use a different note here. That's basic. You want to use different notes. So there's A, there's B. That would be C, right? Because B and C are close to each other. And then we go here, C sharp. Now here, you're saying, well, Ricky, right there, you just said don't use the C. Well, I didn't use the C right here. All right, I didn't use the C. I'm not saying C. So because I don't say the C, I can then use that C sharp. I can use the name. So C sharp, and then this would be B, and then D and E are not close to each other, so they're a full step apart. So here's your E, F, right? E and F are close to each other. So this is F, this is F, and then I go to my G. So these are my notes in my A7 flat 9 chord. So how do you make it? Boom, make it like this. Sorry. Why do we always say sorry? It's like a habit. Guitar, you may mess up. Oh, sorry. You go to something. Sorry. I don't know what to say sorry, but it's got me. So sorry. There you go. Your A7 flat 9. So what are these notes? This is your E. This is your D, and this is your this is your C sharp. That's me. And then this is your B flat. So these two right here, when you make this sound, it sounds nice. This is a shape. all of the chords I've shown you are shapes. You take this shape and you can move it around. And if you just play these notes, so if I take this shape and I play it right here, this would be an A7. This is A7 flat 9, right? This is root position. Root position. I can also put the G, because remember there's a G in there. So I can put the G. Oh, let's quiz you with that. If I put the G, what inversion is this? What inversion is this? You might get hung up because of this guy. So remember, this guy is really not the flat second, it's the flat 9. So don't count this as first inversion. I'll give you that hint. So it's easy. Root position, first inversion, second inversion, third inversion. So this is a third inversion, 5th, 7th, flat 9. If we do that. And if we do that, we bar here. Right, we bar here. So, but that's advanced. So just want to give you advanced stuff here and there. So which fingers do you use? Obviously this is open. This is going to be the 1. This is going to be your index. It's like that. So then this is the ring, and this is the 2. It's the middle. So that's how you play that. Right, and then his guy's open. You don't want to play this one. Technically you can because it's the 5th, but remember we want to sound bassy. You never play this open. Don't play the E open. I know what you're thinking. I can play that E open right there and make it a second inversion. No, it doesn't really go because you want, try it. You hear the difference. You want to emphasize this and this. Oh, Ricky, but you said you can put the G. Yeah, but if you put the G, the G is higher than this E. This E is so low that it makes you hear this as an E chord. So the G is acceptable because it works. Don't ask me why. Ask me why. I'll research and figure it out. But to my ear, to your ear, to flamenco, the G is acceptable, but not this E. You don't want this open. You want that G there. All right. You can even do a cool one. Let me show you a cool one here. Oh, you're in a cooler one. No, I can't help myself, huh? I'm making a long video just giving away all the secrets. Let me tell you this cool one. So you'll bar this guy, right, with the first finger, and then you can put the pinky here. This is an A. There is no flat 9 right there on that one. Or you can bar it, right? Let's say I'm barring, and you can put your 2 finger right there. Right, then you make it the A7 flat 9. Or lastly, before I let you go, you can even do that. Sorry, why am I saying 4? Oh, 4, because it's your finger. So 4, you can even do that. You can stretch that one, and that'll be your flat 9. This is a B flat, right? E, F, G, A, B flat. Right? So, but the one you should know, the one you should pay attention to, the first one you should learn and really nail down and know for sure, and know how to get there quickly, is just that. Your A7 flat 9, your 5th, 7th flat 9, most important chord. So remember, to recap, we have our D minor, it's your first minor, then you have your B flat, then you have your C, that's your flat 7, then you have your D, then you have your B flat. I'm all over the place, look. Let me pause. You got your D minor, it's your first minor. Then you have your C, which is your flat 7. Then you have your B flat, which is your flat 6. Then you have your A7 flat 9. So learn this, know this, screenshot this, do what you need to do, but play with these chords. These are cool chords, right? These are really nice chords here. Learn this. Don't try to get too fancy and learn all these other ways of playing. You want to master Medio. And you don't need to master where you know everything about it, but you need to know the scales you can play around this. You need to know how to play this. You need to know what it sounds like. So like, that's Medio. That's Medio. You're playing Medio. It's going to have a unique sound, which you'll get accustomed to. But you won't get accustomed to it if you don't start playing around with it. All right, you need to start playing around with it, recognize it, get it into the dome, get it into the ears, and really like it. I have major fingering 6 right here because for our fingerings, the easiest one you can play, the one I talked about earlier, is major fingering 6, which are these notes. which is comprised of these notes here. Sorry, I'm speaking bad English. Which is comprised of these notes. So these are the notes you can play, and you can even play this one here too. All right, so I'll give you the fingering. So you stick around and watch my long videos, you're gonna get a lot of information. I might be long-winded, but I'm giving you a ton of game, a ton of info. So there you go, right? This is the with this guy being the most important, these notes here. When you solo or when you improvise and you solo around, when you play these your chords with any chord in this, any of those 4 chords, play this, just this scale, play around with it, but resolve here, and when you resolve here, you got to play your A759. Right? It's like dun dun, and then play your A759. Right? Play that guy. You want to do this. You want to get here. This is the one. I want to say one other thing before I go. You can resolve here. Or let's say you want to like stop, but you don't want to keep going. I mean, you want to kind of take a pause in between your solo, but you don't want to finish your solo. You resolve here when you finish your solo. In between, if you're just like da 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 da, like a good place to stop, you can also resolve on the 5th, which would be here. So it's here and then it's there, or let's call it there. So then you can also resolve. Let me put that in light blue. You can also resolve here in these guys. This is the 5th. This is the E, right? It's A and E. So when you're soloing, when you're using this scale, our major fingering 6, you're saying, well, Ricky, what scale is that? Our major fingering 6. Sorry, this is an F major scale. So we're doing an F major. It's an F major scale over D minor. Get into that later. But if you know about theory, then you understand that D major fits over D minor. So we're playing D minor here. I mean, we're playing F major. F major fits over D minor. It fits over C major. It fits over all of our chords. It's one scale you can play over this entire group of chords. So it fits over our D minor. It fits over our C major. It fits over our B flat. It fits over our A7 flat 9. Fits over all of them. Okay, over all of them. So, people try to call these scales all these different things, and they add different notes in them. Well, yeah, we can play other scales too, but for now, don't do too much. Just get really good at this first part, and I promise you, we'll teach you other scales. We'll teach you other stuff where you can start to sound really, really nice. But even with this, you can sound really nice. Some of Paco's best pieces are simple. When you study them, you're gonna learn like, dang, dude just did just one scale right there. It's like 4 chords. It's like the whole piece, this whole falsetto's 4 chords and like 3 scales, 2 scales, 1 scale. And you would never know unless you broke it down and analyzed it. I'm like, oh wow, it's just 1 scale, 4 chords, 1 scale, 2 chords, that's it. But it sounds great, different voicings and all that stuff. So focus on the basics and you'll go far. So guys, I know this was a long video, but I can't help it. I had a lot of information bottled up and I had to get it out to you. I hope this helped. I hope this has helped you. I hope that you've enjoyed it. This has been Ricky T, your flamenco guitar coach, and I'll see you next time.